It feels like home, home, home. It feels like home, home, home. It feels like home.
Hey there, so because it feels like fall, I don't know if you have felt the vast change in the weather. I don't know, it just, everything feels like it changed so quickly. But today I just wanted to make something pumpkin. It just sounded like that was what my body needed. So we're gonna try these pumpkin blondies. And they are pumpkin and butterscotch. So I have here dried my pumpkin so that what was 3/4 of a cup is probably closer to about 1/3 of a cup. And I'm going to mix that in with the whole wet ingredients. For my dry ingredients, I have 329 grams of flour. And when I do flour, a lot of times I just like to weigh it, because if you get it overpacked, you can actually get a really dry result. So I almost always in baking, I will weigh the flour, because I want to make sure that I get a nice tender cookie or a nice moist cake or a really delicious pie crust, whatever it is. I always weigh my flour. So this is 329 grams of flour, and then it is 3/4 of a teaspoon each of salt, soda, and baking powder. And then to that I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. So we're going to make it taste like the fall with ginger, and a 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg too. Ooh, I'm almost out of nutmeg. Ooh, that's a little overkill. Nutmeg, I love nutmeg though. And then 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. This delightful little color. I love the colors of all of these different seasonings, spices. And then a tablespoon of cinnamon. And I like it really spicy, so if you don't like it quite so spicy, you could add a little less cinnamon. With those dry ingredients, I'm just gonna whisk them all together. So a lot of times I don't combine my dry ingredients before I do my wet. If it's just a couple of things like salt and baking soda, I try and just use my fingers, but this has so many different components to it that I'm using the whisk to actually do the extra step in a separate bowl, and getting an extra bowl dirty is not going to be the end of the world in this case. So then I'm going to combine, this is 1.5 cups of brown sugar, and I'm going to put in 3 room temperature egg yolks, and I'm going to combine that with my hand mixer just until it comes together. And I have 1.25 cups of butter in the oven right now, and I'm getting it melted, and I'll leave it in there. It could even get a little brown, which would be an awesome flavor, a little brown butter flavor. And that's probably the easiest way to do your brown butter, is just to put it in the oven. In whatever pan you're going to bake in. It's just starting to brown right here. I could leave it in longer and get some nice brown butter, but I'm just going to go ahead and pour this carefully in here. Okay, so you just want to beat that together until it is a nice light color. It's probably been about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to put in this pumpkin that we've tried to get all of the excess liquid out of, because we just want to add a lot of pumpkin flavor and not a lot of the excess moisture. Now I'll put in a little bit of my dry, probably at once, with it on low, and just get that to start to come together. About 1/2 cup of butterscotch chips. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. We're all set and ready to put that in the oven. Oven is preheated to 350 degrees. And this is smelling amazing. I can smell that the butter is slightly browned, and I love butterscotch chips, but you could put in regular chocolate chips, or you could put in white chocolate chips, or you could put nuts of any sort in that you like, or raisins. It would all be good. This is just a basic fall blondie recipe. I also make ginger snap. Sorry. I also make ginger, what do they call it? Gingerbread. I also make gingerbread blondies that are amazing. So that will be probably on the near agenda. And like I said, don't throw away that extra pumpkin that you have left over from the can of pumpkin from this, because I'm going to show you how to make an awesome chewy cookie recipe with that pumpkin. And then my daughter, there's just a little bit left after that. My daughter and I will probably use them for facials. But anyway, this is going to go in the oven for about 26 to 30 minutes until a toothpick comes out with some fudgy residue on it. You don't want to overcook it. You want to make sure that it'll still continue to cook in that pan, especially that one. It's one of those Pampered Chef pans that's all fancy schmancy and wonderful, but it'll keep cooking in that for a few more minutes after you pull it out. So you want to make sure and get it before it's completely too dry. So 26 minutes is where I'm going to check it.